طيب رح نبدأ. أهلا وسهلا فيكم من كل المؤسسات والبلدان اللي بتمثلوها. بعتقد اليوم صار
all the countries that you are representing. I think that you were introduced to each other and you match each other. We want you to talk to each other and not to stay in your own groups, in your own countries, country groups, and in your own like Lebanese together, Jordanian together. So we want you to mix. So we are going to start, first of all, with a minute of silence, to observe a minute of silence. Unfortunately, every year in MDLAB, we will have a martyr in media. This year, the martyr is Shireen Abu Aqli. You all know her. Please, we will observe 1 minute of silence. Thank you. Please stay up for 1 minute because we also have to stay as a stand of pride for the martyrs of media and martyrs in Palestine and in all our Arab countries, because they all deserve from us more than 1 minute of silence, because they are facing the Zionist enemy and Zionism violence and offenses. Several things that Shireen was expressing during her life, in her work and in her work. You know that she was a Palestinian and she had a US identity and US passport, so she could have lived in the US and she could have worked in the US and she could also have talked to us from the United States about what was happening in Palestine. However, she preferred to be there on the ground to talk about what's happening there. And at the same time, her mission and her goal was embedding her vision and her objectives. She wanted to spread a philosophical approach in our countries, in our communities, so we can face and resist. I will start to say what is the media literacy. I will give you an introduction, a first introduction about the media and digital literacy. What is it? The media literacy started in the 50s and the 60s with the development of the media, the cinema, the television, the radio, and the newspapers. People were afraid because of what was happening and how this media was strong and was affecting the mindset of our children, culture, and communities. It started after the World War II, in fact, and the propaganda campaign, especially in the United States, its success was scary, so that the United States government was afraid of it, and they had a group to study the propaganda and its strong impact, and they passes a law that prohibit the use of propaganda inside the US communities. This is how the media was successful after the World War II. With the development of the media, we developed also the idea of the media literacy, and we live in a world where media are omnipresent from 1982. So we didn't have the mobile phones yet, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have the satellites, we didn't have the cable. We just had these 3 channels that you watch, or we had also newspapers and some radio channels. But now we are living in a world where media are omnipresent. We also didn't have cinema because there was people were afraid on how media is impacting, how can we understand the media, and how can we prevent the negative impact. I will show you several videos during my presentation, and each video shows you from a perspective what is the media literacy.
التربية، حوار الثقافات، مواطنة، معرفة، استدامة. يساوي ملكليكس. نحن ننقر ملايين المرات في اليوم، ننقر لنبحث، نقرأ، نشاهد.
We click several times to look, to interact, to have fun, and to be productive. However, do we do this wisely? Do we know what are the information and the content that was created by someone? Where can we find the information? What are the sites that we promote? So that we can participate in building peace, equality, freedom of speech, and surfing the internet. MailClicks is an initiative that started with the UNESCO as well as some partners, also using Facebook, Instagram for fun, education, sharing information, advices, solving puzzles, and learning new skills. However, the challenge is to experience and know what are your information in order to transfer wisely the creativity and in a critical way. This is the MailClicks. Are you ready for the challenge? To search, to participate, and to share the content. Be part of MailClicks and become a MailClicker. It is no doubt that until the end of the 90s, we also have another movie from another video for GMI. So until the end of the 90s, the media literacy was in the Western country, USA, Canada, England, Australia, and some of the European countries. It was a curricula that students used to study in the university. However, with the technology revolution, with the internet and mobile revolution, it started to spread all around the world. Also, the UNESCO adopted it, as well as the UNAOC, Alliance of Civilizations. They adopted the media literacy on an international level in order to build bridges between diverse cultures and communities. This happened in around 2005. In the Arab world, unfortunately, we are so late in following this advancement. Until 2009, we only had 2 universities that teach the media literacy, AUB and AUC, and they were 2 subjects only. Maybe there was also a university in Egypt that used to give this course. So several people, several academicians, several students were interested in this topic. They were introduced to this topic in some way, maybe in the Western countries, in Lebanon or in Egypt, or also in the UAE. And so they tried to implement it in the curricula. However, we faced several problems. We established in 2011 a conference, and it was at the beginning of the Arab Springs and the revolution. So we called the conference New Trends Toward the Media Literacy. And we found there were several challenges that some of the professors and the instructors at the university didn't know anything about the media literacy, and they were not ready for these topics. So therefore we decided to establish the MDLAB. When we looked around us, we had to have a lot of financial support, assistance, as well as experiences from, and we relied on the Salzburg Academy, and several professors from this academy came and helped us. I will show you a video about Salzburg Academy so that you know what we are talking about.
How do I think media can change? What time is dinner? Do you guys have a deadline here? 12. Media is the only thing that can change the world. All our beliefs.
الإعلام هو الأمر الوحيد الذي قد يغير العالم، فكل ما نعرفه عن العالم يأتينا من خلال وسائل الإعلام. في عالمنا أو وسائل الإعلام العالمية، وأعتقد أنه لا خيار آخر لدينا سوى أن ننظر إلى الإعلام على أنهم عنصر تغيير في العالم. الصوت غير واضح من الفيديو. يمكننا أن ننظر إلى الإعلام على أنه أداة، يمكنه أن يكون أداة جيدة وأداة سيئة ككل الأدوات الأخرى. ففي بعض الأحيان لدينا الأفكار والأحكام المسبقة التي تنشر عبر وسائل الإعلام. نعتذر ولكن الصوت غير واضح.
No es que ellos crean que están cambiando el mundo, pero en la forma cotidiana de actuar terminan haciendo pequeños cambios, pero que son cualitativamente muy significativos.
إن الأمثلة التي تظهرها لنا UNDP تظهر لنا كيف يمكن للأمور الصغيرة أن تحدث تغيرا من خلال وسائل الإعلام. أيضا كان هناك فيديوهات تظهر أن هناك عدد كبير من الشباب في بوسنيا عاطلين عن العمل، وهذا ما كانت تظهره وسائل الإعلام. وكان هناك عدد من المناهج في اللغة الإنجليزية، ووجدنا أن هناك الكثير من الفساد في الأنظمة التعليمية. حاولنا أن ننشئ لعبة لكي ندفع الأشخاص إلى التحدث عن بعض المسائل المشتركة فيما بينهم وأطلق هذه المحادثات. أنا في كاتبة محتوى وفي بيروت، وأعتقد بأن هذا الوسائل الإعلام تغير العالم. إذا أردنا أن نغير العالم يجب علينا أن نأخذ بعض الخطر، ويجب علينا أن نتحدى بعض الافتراضات حول الأمور التي نقوم بها ولماذا نحن نقوم بابتكار وسائل الإعلام. أعتقد بأن وسائل الإعلام تحتوي وتشمل على المسؤولية الاجتماعية، ما الذي نريد أن نقوم به لمجتمعاتنا وكيف يؤثر هذا الموضوع بالمجتمعات، وأن يكون لدينا مسؤولية تجاه العمل الذي نقوم به وتجاه المجتمع. إن وسائل الإعلام والميديا يمكن أن تستخدم لأمور جيدة، وأيضا ربما يمكنها أيضا أن تستخدم لغايات سيئة. نحن لا ننقل فقط رسالة ونقول إنها فقط رسالة، دائما يجب أن تكون هذه الرسائل هادفة، أن تعرفوا أن هذا الأمر الذي قمتم بابتكاره وهذا ما قد يؤثر، وهذه الطريقة قد يؤثر على أشخاص المتلقين. يجب علينا أن نرتكز إلى الأمور التي تحدث في الخارج، في المساحات العامة، في السياسة، في الاجتماع، في المجتمع، وكيف يتم ترجمتها على أرض الواقع. لو كنت أعمل على إحدى المشاريع بالاستناد إلى بعض الأفكار سأتمكن من إنشاء ربما بعض الشبكات وأعمل على هذه القصص. يجب على الطلاب أن يعودوا إلى منازلهم ويفهموا الطبيعة المذهلة لما قاموا به، ويجب عليهم أن يفهموا بأنه يجب عليهم أن يعملوا ليكونوا منتجين بطرق متعددة وبأوضاع مختلفة. في العام 2014 إن المشاريع التي تم التطرق إليها كانت التغير المناخي، حقوق الإنسان، الفقر، الاستدامة والفساد وغيرها من المواضيع. إذن the Salzburg Academy was founded in 2006. We sent a lot of students, female and male, from the LIU, from the GMI, as well as from several Arab universities, and the AUC used to send students there. However, we didn't feel that there was a change in the Arab world, so we sent students to learn there and they would be strong. However, several of them came back to spread their knowledge. This is where we started to think about the MDLAB. But before we started with the idea, we were part of the Salzburg Academy. There were Lebanese participating, Arab people participating, Americans, as well as doctors from Southern Americas and from China. So they were talking about the media literacy where several countries were adopting it. So the media literacy, when it started, it was relying on the critical inquiry, so the critical reading of text in the newspapers or on TV. With time, when the media production was cheaper and was better with the mobile phones, we now have smaller cameras, so the we moved toward the digital empowerment. Also, we pushed the media literacy more to involve the civic engagement, or if you can call it, the civil activism. With time, we said that we need to rely on collaborative researchers, scientific researchers from academicians, not only one person staying in a university doing a research without sharing it with others. However, also with time, we felt that there was something missing. What is the compass of the work that we are doing and the media literacy? So we decided on social justice. So the way that you think of the situation, you think of social justice, not what we teach you in your schools or communities. So the way you think and you look at the social justice. And at the end, we found something from the MDLAB and not from Salzburg Academy, which was the design for the margins, or to work with the oppressed, to free them. So this terminology and this topic is going to be reiterated in several workshops and in the work that we are going to request from you, whether it was a video, a data, or a production. So we are going to ask you to incorporate this social justice. How can we help our communities through the media literacy? It's not about only learning and developing ourselves on the personal level, but how can we incorporate and transfer this knowledge? This is where the MDLAB idea came from.
Digital media literacy is about giving people the power and giving people the voice.
التربية الإعلامية هي إعطاء الأشخاص السلطة وإسماع صوتهم لإحداث تغيير. أعتقد أنها تحتوي وتشمل التربية، ولكي تنبهنا على الصور التي نراها والقصص التي نراها، ألا ننظر إليها من دون طرح أسئلة حول مصدرها ومن أين تأتي. نحن نريد أن نوسع نطاق الأصوات التي يتم إسماعها من حول العالم، لكي يفهم الأشخاص من حول العالم ما هي الأمور الأساسية والتحديات. أن نتمكن، فمعظم الأقليات واللاجئين حول العالم ليس لديهم هذه المنصات الإعلامية. إذن يمكننا أن نرى أن هذا التربية الإعلامية تأخذ وجهة النظر هذه بعين الاعتبار. الأشخاص يجب أن يتحدثوا ويحتووا ويسيطروا على المساحات العامة لأتحدث عن هذا الموضوع. ما رأيناه خلال الأعوام الماضية هو تأثير الإيجابي لميديا لاب على المجتمع، فعدد من الجامعات اعتمدت هذه الدورات وهذه المواضيع في مناهجها، وأيضا لتأثير على الأشخاص الذين هم يقومون بإنشاء المحتوى عبر الإنترنت وفي وسائل الإعلام أيضا. The focus was not only on the theoretical but also on the practical side, videos, audio, so that you can be knowing how to use it. What I learned at the academy was to focus on my work. Everything we learned is applicable in real life, whether you had the information or you added new information on it. أعتقد أن العملي والافتراضي إذا جمعناهم معا يساعدنا على تمكين أشخاص آخرين لكي يتعلموا أكثر عن وسائل الإعلام ويتمكنوا من فك تشفير هذه الرسائل التي يتم إرسالها عبر الوسائل الإعلامية. The best thing I learned from MDLAB is I learned about the media. We met also several people from several nationalities from the Arab world. MDLAB ونوعية المقدمين والمشاركين كانت رائعة. أيضا أن خبرة القدوم إلى بيروت والمشاركة في MDLAB كانت مذهلة ورائعة بالنسبة إليه. So to be honest and transparent and clear with you, we are investing in you in order to spread the digital literacy in the Arab countries. This is the clear objective of the Media and Digital Literacy Academy of Beirut, is to empower the media and digital literacy in the Arab world through the training a whole generation of academicians and students of media, and building approaches of the modern media that are ingrained in the Arab reality. So maybe you are not in line with other people, but you need to accept what others are saying in order to build the communities. And what is more important, to find an identity for the media literacy in our community. What is our media literacy? It should be ingrained in our concerns, in our communities. There are a lot of books that talk about maybe racism in media. Maybe we have the racism in media, however, our racism is more religious, more than mediatic or sectorial. So we need to find solutions for the problems that we are facing, and not only talk about any other problems. So, from 2013 till today, so 10 years ago, minus 2 years because during COVID we were not able to do anything. And we thank those people that participated with us. We were able to partner with more than 60 universities around the world. So maybe if we count also the schools, maybe there are 7. And maybe media literacy is sometimes spread over several courses, and they give this information other than we give it, especially in Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, and Egypt. I know that in Jordan, the country and the state adopted this topic and this curricula, and they put it in the universities and academies. Also in Iraq, they introduced the media literacy maybe on 17 universities, 13, 14, or 17 universities. So 17 universities now, they have this course at the media literacy in Lebanon as well, and we have other countries I haven't mentioned here. But in general, our objective is that all the Arab countries will have this teaching and this media literacy, not only on the level of universities and targeting the media students, however, to target all the students who are studying medicine, architecture, engineering. Any student should learn about media, and they need to get education about media, and they have to have the media literacy. Our goal in the LAU is to introduce this critical thinking on all the courses, not only on the courses related to media. We have the health literacy, religion literacy, science literacy, math literacy. All of these topics are going to improve our communities and develop our communities and societies as well. So we go back to our first question: what is media literacy? Starting from 192, we adopted a definition that media and digital literacy is the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and create media in a variety of forms. This is, in general, a simple definition, and we can start from this point. We always orient this media literacy toward emancipation of the oppressed, and media education aimed at self and communal empowerment and emancipation of the oppressed. This is what you need to adopt as well in your work. So why do we use media literacy? Maybe I will try to convince you, because some of you maybe are not convinced. we are saying that I will come here for 1 week, 2 weeks, have fun, and after that leave without anything. How many of you now present here check their phones every minute? All of you. You're all wrong. Let me tell you why. You don't check your mobile. The mobile is checking you. The mobile wakes you up in the morning. The mobile will light up and to tell you, look at me. You're not looking at me. The mobile is listening to you more the most of the time, and the most of the companies who are using to hear you as Israeli companies. So the idea that the media is affecting all aspects of our life is an old idea. Sometimes previously we said that you wake up in the morning, the cell phone is next to you, the television is in front of you, the newspaper, and then you leave your house, you will see the billboards on the road, you have the radio, you get to your university, you have computers. So not at any moment in your life you're not surrounded by media and technology, technology. Our children, our parents, since they are born till they die, they are surrounded with media. So that even the UNESCO, at a certain point, UNESCO said that the media literacy is at the core of education. So and at the core of the freedom of expression. I want to say on the personal level, it is my work and I get my income from this work. But if we look at the main 10 skills for the future of work, you look and you see that the media literacy is one of the 6 new skills for the future. This was in 2011, and now I updated my information, and in 2022 HR forecast they wrote that digital literacy, programming literacy, digital literacy, data analysis and statistics, computational and algorithm thinking, and we are going to introduce some of the new topics: digital ethics, understanding smart systems, cybersecurity and tech enablement. Also, another resource, which is the future workshop and workforce, is media literacy. And what's the definition? It's the same definition as that work. This is on a personal level. I'm talking from a business level. You want to work, you want to find a job, you want to establish new institutions. So the media and digital literacy is one of the best skills that you can acquire. Also, in regards to the political work, it shows that the digital media literacy education is help the people to be more involved in the work in the society and politically. And also at the same time, some of the terrorist extremist group also have media literacy, and they are using it for maybe not very good purposes. So we aim and we prefer that our societies would all have the media literacy, and they use them for the good thing in their community. Even in the fake news topic, so the falsified or misinformation, there was a study that found that the people who have a high level of media literacy will be less impacted and less affected by the fake news and the misinformation. And the last study about COVID-19, the media literacy will save your life. The study found that the media literacy is recommended for the people not to have false information about the COVID, and maybe not refuse to take the vaccine and die. The study that we did in Lebanon, we saw that people who had media literacy were not spreading misinformation, and they were not adding to the misinformation that are being spread on COVID. Now we are talking about life issues, not only about empowering oneself and promoting skills.
There are many studies that talk about epidemics related to media, infodemics, we're talking about depression, dyslexia, all of those things. Dozens of studies have been led on the effect of media on us, on our children, on everyone. And all of those things can be solved through media literacy. So what is media literacy? What are the main principles of media literacy? Of course, you all read before you got here. You read it. I think that some of you are laughing. I think one person just raised their hand. So it is very important for you to read the material that we've sent you. Are you done with them? Did you finish them? Perfect, great. So if the material is too much for you, just wait and see what will happen now. So the first main principle for media literacy is that all media messages are constructions. There is nothing natural. There is nothing that grows on a tree in the media. There is no text without an author. The author is choosing the expressions, he's choosing the words, the interviewee, he chooses the sequence of things. He decides who will be taking photos, which person he'll be taking photos of, which angle will he use, is it a low angle, a high angle to take the picture. So all of those things in the media are constructions. So we must be able to detect these constructions and to understand the different decisions that were made. Maybe some decisions were made naturally. For example, we say that a sentence is formed as such, subject, verb, object. But some things are used to convey a certain image, a certain idea. Messages are representations. They are not reflections of reality. In general, media reflects the community in a sense that if the community is sectarian, it means that the media will be that too. So the media simplifies the reality. The reality is very complex. It is very complicated, and I cannot actually write everything in the media. If I want to talk about a person, about a crime, for example, I cannot go into as many details as I want. I have a certain reality, I have a certain picture that I can use. I cannot choose any sort of information to add it. Those are all decisions that should be made. Messages of economic, political, cultural, and technological dimensions. When we broadcast some news on TV, it is not just about conveying a message. It is also about attracting the attention of an audience. How can I attract people on social media? How many followers do I have? How many views do I have? Those are all aspects that we need to think about beyond politics, beyond social, beyond all of those things. For example, there are a few mediums that do not require a lot of words. They can convey a message more easily. So we need to decide this. We're not just talking about media, we're talking about music, about cinema, about films, etc. Individuals interpret messages differently. This principle might be a bit simple. When I read it for the first time, I said, okay, maybe I could understand some news better than others because I am more well-versed in a certain topic. But it's not just about this. It's not about how much I understand as a writer. It's about how much people will understand as audience. If I'm writing a text, you should know that if it's gonna be translated, the translation will be different depending on the person translating it. Maybe we have a community that is drowning in Zionist propaganda. In this case, this person would be thinking about the pictures taken of the army, for example, from a certain angle. I need to be able to see and to witness the experience by myself. It's not just about my perspective and how I understand things. It's about how people will understand the picture that I'm painting for them, because it's about them and it's about the correct information that I'm conveying. Media are not monolithic or independent from society. For example, the media in Iraq. It depends on the community. The media is born from the community. People are creating films, they are producing videos related to media and related to their region, related to their community. Where did the extremist media come from? It came from the people who are extremists. Do you know anything about this? Where did that come from? Where did extremism come from? So when we talk about the media, you know that there's a specific type of media used as propaganda, like the media launched by Daesh. Who is the person who creates the message? So those are core questions. Who created the message? This is very important. If I write an article, am I the creator of this article? Maybe maybe the article will be read by the editor, it will be read by a certain media institution, it will be delivered to my family, to the community. Maybe there are some certain things that I cannot say, some taboo things that I cannot talk about. So am I actually the person who created the message in this case? What techniques are used to attract attention? Music, violence, sex, all of those things are used to attract attention. Sometimes they are used to sell. This is what media is for. What lifestyles, values, point of views are presented when we watch a movie on TV? For example, a Turkish TV show, like the ones that you see, the dubbed TV shows. Who are we talking about when we watch, for example, this TV show? What kind of community, what kind of people are we seeing? What kind of people is this TV show reflecting? For example, if we're listening to the media from a confession or sectarian perspective, we might not hear certain names. For example, if it's a very Christian extremist media, we might just hear Christian names, whereas we cannot forget that there's Ali, there's Muhammad, there's all of those people. So what was this message sent? Are we talking about propaganda? Is it a selfie sent by someone, like an influencer whose only goal is to increase the number of his followers? Is it, does it have a lucrative goal? Does it aim at gaining more money? So maybe someone wants to post some sort of news or post a picture just to earn money and not to give us any actual information. How can the people understand the different media? How might different people understand it differently? People might understand it differently based on their background, based on their knowledge, their education. And I need to know who my audience is in order to be able to deliver the message appropriately and adequately. In our communities, unfortunately, we are not able to convey the message the way that it should be conveyed to the West. And that's a thing that we must think about. What impact could the message have on society? So how is a certain message affecting me? When we know the impact that a certain media, print or a certain news can have on people, I can write my message better. For example, if I want to sell something to the West, I need to make sure that the woman is blonde, she has blue eyes, she is thin, she has a nice figure, she is tall. And I must think in this situation, how does this image affect the women? Is this image the standard image of a woman in a certain region? For example, this is how I think I should think about it. So if the person in the ad is beautiful, they have a perfect nose, perfect face, is the message that I want to send to the people that they should actually have surgeries in order to look like this person. So this is also something that we should take into consideration. The last question is, how can it emancipate or oppress any marginalized groups or oppressed society? And this is your role, because you know who the marginalized groups and oppressed society groups are. You know how you can find messages and deliver the messages correctly to the marginalized groups and oppressed society. Messages must not be generalized. Before concluding, just let me jump quickly to the program. I think we still have around 10 minutes. So, as you know, as you saw in the email, in MDLAB there are two groups, and one of the groups is divided into two, so 3 main groups. But the two main groups, the two big groups, are the academicians, who will focus on pedagogical construction, anything related to how to create a syllabus, how to form this course. And the second group will be the students and the activists. They will focus on digital production and data production. This is something that we added this year. There might be some sort of overlap between the two groups, and I assure you that we will not be too strict on this. We are not going to wish to produce videos that are perfected, but let me tell you, if you want to move from one group to the other, please talk to Annie as soon as possible. She will help you out. But if everyone joins one group and there's no one left in the other one, then this would be a problem. So please try to keep a sort of balance between the academicians who are working on the production and the video, and the others who are working on data. Of course, when it comes to video, if you have video producing skills, you can use them, you can develop them, and if you do not, just try to do whatever you can do in order to convey the messages that you want. For the data group, you will handle data workshops. Of course, every group will be handling a data workshop, but you will be having something extra, and you will be able to visualize the ideas, and of course in the end you will come up with a result. The media group will be responsible for curricula. You will practice how you can give lectures in many different ways. But please, if you wanna make any change, tell us right now, because if you ask to change your group afterwards, we would have to say no. Is that clear for everyone? So that's the program. Keep it with you. It's a dynamic program. It will be changed. It might change afterwards. There might be some amendments if there's any cancellation, anything like that. So we're almost done for the day. We still have Dr. Anna Antonakis, who will come in 10 minutes to give us her lecture, and then we'll have a break, and then with Dr. Gretchen King, whom you've met before, will remind us of a few important things related to pre-academy assignments. Tomorrow, please, everyone come right on time. There will be 2 lectures each day in the morning, and then the workshops will be in the afternoon. Tomorrow, we have a lecture by Dr. Gretchen King, and then we will have another lecture by Mr. Haider Hamzouz. He will start with us on a lecture related to fact-checking and digital security, and then a few days later Haider will give a workshop for the professors, or the students. No, sorry, it's for the professors in the afternoon. First one will be about women, peace and security. It will be for everyone on Saturday. In the morning on Saturday I will be giving you another lecture. We're going to talk about COVID, media literacy and media. And then Dr. Ahmed Al-Rawi will take the floor. He is going to give a lecture, and then there will be a workshop about toolkits and guides to research misinformation. It's going to be given to the professors. It's for research that could be done on misinformation. And for the activists, journalists, and professors, are going to have a workshop on how to produce feminist journalism with Alia Awada. And then of course there will be another workshop afterwards on women, peace and security. On Sunday in the morning we're gonna have a lecture by Mrs. Dina Abu Ghazala on media entrepreneurship and how you launch your journalism career if you're a new journalist, or even if you wanna create or launch your institutions, your media institutions or establishments. And then this lecture will be for everyone in the morning. The second session will be with Dr. Stefan Moistra. He will be giving us a lecture on video storytelling and their journalist as a human being. He's going to talk about the different methods to narrate in videos in the media, and of course he will be giving also a workshop in the afternoon, and then we can start to think about our final project, especially the video squad. Then Haidar, you will give us 2 workshops for professors, one of them about fact-checking tools and the other about digital security. Then we move to Monday, lecture in the morning with Dr. Claudia. She will be giving us like a survey about media research in the Arab world that was done a few months ago. Then there's a lecture by Dr. Clemencia Rodriguez, and she will be giving us 2 workshops. She will be giving the professors 2 workshops. It's about data. We have just moved into data. So Dr. Rodriguez will give us a workshop, and then Mr. Ali Sroor will give us another workshop about data analysis and visualization. So 2 workshops. 2 workshops the next day as well, on Tuesday. And after that, we are divided into 2 groups. The video squad in one location, data squad in another location, etc. So here we have 3 groups completely divided. In the morning we will all be here together. We're gonna receive the lectures together, but then we're going to split up. So on Tuesday we're gonna have a lecture with Dr. Daniel Jagic from LAU, who will be giving us a lecture about dismantling media bias. Then session 2 is going to be a lecture about using eco-media literacy to explore eco-justice with Dr. Antonio Lopez. And in the afternoon, there is a meeting and a workshop. On Wednesday, first lecture is going to be by Dr. Jennifer Rosales about media literacy, affect and contemplative pedagogy, which is a new type of literacy. And of course then there's a documentary, it's called Trust Me. There will be translation into Arabic or into English depending on the documentary. Afterwards, after the lunch break, there will be a TOT meeting about media pedagogies with Dr. Gretchen King. There will be a workshop with about the video project with Samer, and the workshop about the data project with Haidar. Afterwards, on Thursday, we'll have a lecture about decoding Israeli cinema and productions with Adib Farhat. We're going to talk about media, minorities, and the marginalized with Maya Majzoub. On Friday morning, you will be presenting your projects. You don't have much time. Please don't take too much time choosing the subjects that you want to treat. On Friday at 9:30, the different teams will be presenting their projects. They'll be submitting their projects, whether we're talking about the video project or the data project. And then we're gonna have a closing ceremony and the distribution of certificates and a final group photo. In the last 2 minutes that I have, allow me to remind you of the importance of discipline, especially when it comes to punctuality. The later you come here, the later we will finish. Please make sure that you know this. Keep an open mind. There are many things that you're going to hear that might not please you. They might be at your dislike, but please. Let us keep an open mind. Remember that we are here to discuss matters. We are not here for conflict. So please agree to disagree. Have a respectful disagreement. We are many people. There are a lot of us, and I think that we should be respectful to one another. This is a space for free speech, but it is also a safe space, and I want you to commit to this. I want you to respect these guidelines and to be respectful of one another, or else we would have to excuse you from the rest of this workshop. Last but not least, allow me to thank the donors. Of course, this workshop is very costly when it comes to organization, preparation, food, all of those things. It is very costly, and there might be many issues, there might be some things that we forget, but I would love to thank the United States Embassy, who funded a lot, a big part of this, DAAD, AUB, Area Corps, Friedrich Ebert Stiftung, the Arab Council for the Social Sciences, and MENA Peace and Security Project, as well as many others. Our donors never impose anything on us. Sometimes they come to the inauguration, we also take group pictures, but the donors usually do not impose on us anything. They do not tell us talk about this, don't talk about that. And as you see, there are many donors who might have funded us for 1 year, but they got offended when we talked about certain subjects, and that's not a problem for us. They stopped funding us, and that's okay. We will not be silenced. We will talk about all the topics that we want to discuss, and we will try to do so respectfully. Thank you so much.